Hello. One of my favorite story tropes, storytelling devices in general, is of the good man who becomes corrupted. It's the perfect kind of tragedy, and I truly cannot get enough of it. In Disney's latest animated film, Wish, they do this in half measure with King Magnifico. Now, the whole movie is kind of on like a speed run. It's a little rushed. To me, it's got to be one of the only movies in recent memory where I actually could use a little more runtime to flesh out the story. And I think one of the largest areas of that improvement could be with their villain. And so here's how I would take just a couple scenes, change them around, and hopefully make King Magnifico stand out as a more tragic character than straight up traditional villain. And as always, please take this video in the spirit intended. This is just me doing a fun writing experiment. No disrespect to any of the hardworking, talented team that made this movie.
Gaming Cookie Guy Entertainment.
So my favorite song in all of Wish was the duet between Asha and Magnifico, At All Costs. I think it set both of them up beautifully as similar people who genuinely care about these wishes. It expresses just how far both of them are willing to go for these wishes. I think it's a fantastic starting place, and this is the foundation of what I would like to do with the story. To start, I want to change one thing. Let's make Asha Magnifico's apprentice right from the start. She's already been working with him for a little bit of time. Maybe there was a whole interview process, other apprentices, and she has risen to the top. I want to set both of these people up as like a mentor or father figure, Magnifico to Asha. He's getting older. He's genuinely looking for a successor who will care about these wishes as much as he does. Also, I found it strange that he would share the wish room like on day one, on the interview day. Like, I feel like these two characters should have some history together, and that's why he trusts her enough to show them this most precious of places in the whole kingdom. Another small change at the start, maybe we could see this in the actual opening song, is that in this land, you know, people are content, people are doing okay, but no one seems truly happy. And that's maybe the main difference I'd like to make, just because in the original story, it really does seem like Magnifico's doing kind of a good thing. Like, he's a bad guy, but his actions aren't necessarily wrong, and they're not hurting anybody. It seems like Asha maybe stirs up trouble where there isn't any, and I'd like to make it clear that, no, there is something to be fighting for in this land. And so, yes, Magnifico finally decides to show Asha these wishes. They share their duet, and we get the scene of Asha asking Magnifico to grant her Saba's wish, a wish of wanting to inspire the next generation that Magnifico calls dangerous and vague. Asha and Magnifico have a little bit of a back and forth, a bit of a disagreement over, a well-intentioned wish. How can that be dangerous? And here's where I want to add a scene that I really wish the original had: Magnifico's backstory. This will be what shows us who Magnifico is, how he became the man he is, a man who loves wishes, but is also afraid of their power. And so here's what I came up with. There's plenty of scenes you could come up with here that would fit just as well. Here's what I am going to pitch. We see Magnifico was a prince in a far-off land. His father was a beloved king. One day, a powerful sorcerer came to the land with the power to grant wishes. He granted other people's wishes. They all were happy. They all seemed to go well. And so he wants to grant the king's wish. The king wants his own wish granted. And the king's wish seemed harmless. His wish was for the sun to shine upon his people and his land. And shine it did, for from that day on, it never rained in the kingdom again. As the farmland began to dry up, the water began to disappear. The very people who once loved their king shouted praises for him. Their king, who only had the best of intentions for them, they revolted as the land dried up. And it would not rain again until the king died, and his wish could die with him. This one scene, of course, played out. We see it visually as Magnifico is telling Asha the story. This gives Magnifico his whole personality. He wants to be like his father. He wants to be loved, but he's also seen that his people can turn on him very quickly. He does not necessarily trust his people all that much. He needs to keep them happy, but that is draining on him. He's also seen how a vague and well-intentioned wish can destroy absolutely everything. And so it's better just to keep them locked away. He'll keep them content, but he cannot allow this power to be unleashed upon his kingdom again. He is too scared of letting that happen. Despite that warning, Asha is still intent on at least returning, if not granting her Saba's wish, and so we get the rest of the movie kind of as written from this point to where she meets Star. Asha meets Star, and then that light of true happiness that most of the people in this land had forgotten shines upon them, and a few wishes are miraculously granted without the king's intervention. This sends Magnifico into a panic. Not because people are feeling happy. That's not his goal. He doesn't want people to feel sad. But he sees, talking animals stampeding through the streets. People are confused. One person begins to fly spontaneously and they can crash into a tree or a building or something. I don't know. He sees this chaos beginning to unfold, and he is very worried. The people are also worried. They are questioning him. They're asking him what is happening. He doesn't have the answers. They're demanding more and more of him. And so in his desperation, he turns to the Darkhold. He does not want what happened to his father to happen to him. He doesn't want what happened to his father's kingdom to happen to his kingdom, and his corruption is complete. Just to add a little more flavor to this scene, I'd like to make it so to access this dark magic, it requires the user of it to crush their own wish. Magnifico's wish, of course, being to be a beloved king. And so Magnifico breaks bad, and in this new warped perspective, he decides the only way to be certain that his kingdom is protected from dangerous wishes is to destroy them all. It's not worth having this danger around. He tries to destroy a couple, but it's clear that Star's magic is keeping them protected for the most part. He's able to crack them some, but he can't quite break through. So he decides he must capture Star in order to destroy all of the wishes. That is our new climax setup. And so we do get our climax, much as we had in the movie. Magnifico is trapped in the mirror, but instead of being, evil, sent to the dungeon, he is still corrupted, but Asha vows to keep him in the mirror and try and find a way to heal him. Because remember, this is her friend. This is her mentor. She wants to see him be the man that she knows he is deep down inside. And so as she grows in her power, she's going to try and heal this dark corruption upon him. After all of this, Asha questions, maybe the king was right. She looks around and people are free to be happy, but at what cost? She worries that maybe she has made a mistake. But she takes a chance. She grants her first wish with the abilities given to her by Star, these magical abilities, and she grants her Saba's wish. And he inspires, of course, with a song, maybe even When You Wish Upon a Star. I think this would be a great point to have that reprised. He inspires Asha, who is the next generation, to keep making people happy. Not just content, but truly happy. And that's my rewrite. I like this. I don't know. Obviously, I like it. I wrote it. But it makes Magnifico stand out as more of a tragic figure, in my opinion, without changing the original story too much. I think the only song impacted really is Knowing What I Know Now, but that was my least favorite in the original anyway, so not too much lost there. It also adds a new dimension to This Is the Thanks I Get, because in the first half, the king can be genuinely heartbroken and scared that the people are turning on him, and then he embraces the dark magic, and then in the back half, he can be that jerk that we saw in the original movie. And yeah, that closes the book on Wish. I do hope you enjoyed the original movie. I know I did, but I also hope you enjoyed my version. Let me know in the comments how you might have changed Wish, and I'll see you for the next rewrite.